Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to start our second lecture, that is from chapter number 9, Diversity Among Animals. So in the last topic we have talked about coelomates, acoelomates and pseudocoelomates. And today we are going to talk about the coelomates and their further division. So the organisms that have a proper body cavity, which is called coelom, they have been further divided up into two groups. One is known as protostomes and the other is known as deuterostomes. These two groups of the organisms have been classified on the basis of the embryonic development of an organism. And these protostomes and deuterostomes have been classified on the basis of the cleavage formation and the fate of the blastopore. When the organism is going through the different stages of embryo formation, it will have different types of development. For example, the protostomes are the organisms in which the cleavage or division of the zygote is spiral and determinate. On the other hand, deuterostomes are the organisms in which cleavage is radial and indeterminate. Now we will talk about the determinate and indeterminate. Determinate is the type of division in which the fate of the germ layers is defined. For example, if there are three germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, their fate is defined. It means at the embryonic stage, each layer is defined that in which organ it is going to be developed. But in deuterostomes, the fate of the germ layers is not defined. It means at the embryonic stage, it is not known that the ectoderm, mesoderm, and the third layer are going to change into which organ. During the development process, the mouth in these animals arises from the blastopore or from its interior margin. Now you can see in the protostomes, the blastopore will change into the mouth. Mouth forms from the blastopore, but in deuterostomes, the anus forms from the blastopore and not the mouth. And you can see in the diagram, there are three different colors. The red color shows the mesoderm, the blue color shows ectoderm, and the yellow shows the endoderm. The mesoderm would split up to form the cavities which will change into the coelom. But in deuterostomes, the coelom forms two pocket-like structures above the endoderm, and these two structures would change into the coelom, and these two pocket-like structures are called archenteron. In protostomes, coelom or body cavity is formed due to splitting of the mesoderm, which you can see in the diagram. The mesoderms, which are shown with the help of red color, they will change into the coelom, which are the body cavities. But in deuterostome, coelom is developed as an outpouching of archenteron. Mesoderm is derived from the cells on the interior lip of the blastopore in protostomes, and deuterostomes. Mesoderm is derived from the wall of the developing gut. The organisms which belong to protostomes are mollusks, annelids, and arthropods, which are the invertebrates. And the animals that belong to deuterostomes are chordates, which are the vertebrates. Some other organisms or the group of animals that belongs to protostomes are Scalmanthes, nematodes, annelida, mollusca, and arthropods. Whereas the organisms that belongs to deuterostomes are echinodermata, hemichordata, and chordata. So this is the phylogenetic tree of the animal kingdom, in which you can see the ancestral organisms are placed at the bottom, starting from sponges, which are also called porifera, ancestral protists, which are the microorganisms or unicellular organisms, and then we will talk about the cellular level of organization. So the next group of organisms will be cnidaria, which belong to the group radiata, which have the radial symmetry. And then followed up by the bilateral, which have the bilateral symmetry, which will be further divided up into acoelomates, pseudocoelomates, and coelomates. Flatworms are the acoelomates. Pseudocoelomates further contains protostomes and deuterostomes. Protostomes will contain mollusks and annelids and arthropods, and deuterostomes would contain chordata and echinodermata, that is starfish. Now we will start with the diversity in animals, in which we will talk about invertebrates. These are the animals that lack a backbone, are commonly known as invertebrates, and out of total species which are found in this planet Earth, 95% of the animals known are invertebrates. Invertebrates have been divided into 8 major phyla or groups, which are porifera, cnidaria, platyhelminthes, scalmanthes, mollusca, annelida, arthropoda, and echinodermata. So we would start with the first group, that is called porifera. This word has been originated from a Latin word porus. So the organisms belonging to this group have pores on their bodies. We will talk about the general characteristics of phylum Porifera. Evolutionary adaptations are not included in your smart syllabus. So sponges are the organisms which belong to this group Porifera. These are sessile. It means they cannot move from one place to another place, so they are attached to the rocks at the bottom of the water. But their larvae are motile. Sponges are all aquatic. Mostly they are found in the marine water, and some of them are also found in the fresh water. And they range in size from few millimeter, which are microscopic, to more than a meter long. The body is multicellular and is not organized as tissues or organs. There is no body symmetry, it means they are asymmetrical. The sponges consists of an outer dermal layer which is called pinacoderm and the inner layer which is called coanoderm. Coanoderm is made up of flagellated cells which are called choanocytes. The cells has been shown in the diagram, and the middle layer between the two layers is called mesenchyme. A body is perforated means it has many pores, and these pores are called ostia. There is a single body cavity inside which is called spongocoel, and you can see it in the diagram, which is the central cavity or the hollow region. Water enters into the body of the organism through ostia and travels through the canal and goes out by a large main opening which is called osculum. Sponges bring their food towards them with the help of the water currents. Because they are sessile and they cannot move to get their food, so water currents would help them to get their food. Various shapes of spicules forms the skeleton, which provides the support to the animal. These are needle-like structures and may be calcareous or siliceous. It means the spicules may be made up of calcium or silica. Sponges have two types of reproduction: asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place with the help of budding and gemmules formation. These are the specialized structures in sponges. And the sexual reproduction takes place with the help of gametes, for example, egg and sperm. Both the sexes may be separate, or both male and female organisms are present on the same organism, so they are called hermaphrodites. The embryo development may also include living or free swimming ciliated larval stages. So these organisms are sessile at their adult form, but they are moving at their larval stages. The examples of porifera are cycon, euplectilla, and spongilla. You can see these organisms in the diagram. Sponges are very important as the skeleton of sponges are used for washing and bathing. and they have a great capacity to absorb water. So they are used in the surgical operations for absorbing fluid and blood. Sponges are used for sound absorption in the buildings. So our next topic is phylum Cnidaria. Cnidaria is a Greek word that means nettle, and its true meaning is annoying. So it has a structure that is connected, and it has a very complicated and different structure. Now we will talk about the general characteristics of phylum Cnidaria. Cnidarians are entirely aquatic. It means all of them are found in the water bodies. For example, some of them are marine and few are found in the fresh water, that is hydra. Most of the species are sessile. For example, hydra. It means they cannot move and they are found attached to the rocks or the substratum, while others are free living and motile, for example, the jellyfish. Cnidarians have a very good capacity to regenerate. It means if a part of them has been cut by some accident, they will regrow that part exactly similar to the part that was missing. Some of the Cnidarians are colonial, and their example is obelia, which are attached on the surface of the seaweeds. Now, if we talk about the size of the Cnidaria, they range in size from the microscopic hydra to the 2 meters in length, which are called the hydrozoan polyps. Their body shows radial symmetry. Cnidarians are diploblastic animals. It means they have two germ layers, the ectoderm and endoderm. And mesoglea, a jelly like fluid, is present in between the two layers. They have a sac like internal gastrovascular cavity, which is a blind cavity. It means it has a one opening and no other opening. The cnidarians have specialized cells which are called cnidocytes. These are the capturing cells. The free living cnidarians are called medusae, and the attached cnidarians are called polyps. The mouth is often surrounded by tentacles, which are the thread like structures which protect the organism from any danger. Tentacles and body is provided by stinging cell organelles, which are called nematocysts. Nematocysts are the spherical capsules which produced externally by cnidarians. These capsules have been shown in the diagram. You can see it has three regions: a barb, lid, and a thread. The thread is coiled inside, and when the organism has to protect itself, it will release its thread outside from the nematocyst, and it would help fight its danger. Now, if we talk about the reproduction, both types of reproduction has been shown in the cnidarians. Asexual reproduction takes place by budding and sexual reproduction by the gametes. Cnidarians also occur in the form of colonies, and the units of the colonies are called zooids. There are two main types of zooids, hydroids or polyps, which are the feeding zooids, and medusae are the reproductive zooids. So the polyps or the hydroids, these would help the organisms to get their food, whereas the medusae would help the organism in the process of reproduction. Now, if we talk about the importance of cnidarians, coral reefs, which are the important cnidarians, protect the shores from erosion by tidal waves because they hold the soil in place, and corals are used in the jewelry making and others are used in aquaria, rock gardens, etc. Some cnidarians have poisonous stings, that is jellyfish and sea anemone, that we have seen in the previous video. So here you can see an obelia which is hermaphrodite and which has the feeding polyp at the top, which is a red floral structure, and at the side the structure which shows the purple dots is called medusae. The structure below the red floral structure is called gastrovascular cavity. In the next you can see hydra, and this is the jellyfish. So these three are the examples of cnidarians. If you have any kind of question, you can ask. Thank you so much.